everybody, and welcome back to Kelly's Chronicles. Happy that you're all here this week. This week we've got one of our favorite guests with us, again, Dad, Chuck, and he's wearing a fabulous Hawaiian shirt. I think that's probably one of the OG of his Hawaiian shirt collections. You've had that one for a long time, Dad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that was one of your first that you ever got, and you kind of fell in love with the idea of wearing Hawaiian shirts. So, but how was your week this week?
Busy. I was working on cars a lot.
Yeah.
Did a little bit. I don't know if you remember the hatch that was on the side of the house where you could crawl into the basement.
Yeah, you had mentioned that you got it moved around.
Got it moved around and got it the door moved around and hung, and that's done. And then did a lot of car work because my cars and the neighbors' cars were all acting up at the same time.
Oh boy.
I got both. I thought I had both cars fixed, but I didn't. Our car is still messed up. The neighbor's car, Al Call's car, is fixed. We put a new switch in. You had to get a $75 switch, a little tiny switch, but
Yeah, folks.
Just like the size of a half a pack of cigarettes or whatever. I don't know. Can't remember the comparison, but anyway, small switch. And it was $75 because it was a Nissan switch.
Oh yeah.
So couldn't be a generic switch; had to be a Nissan. So put that in there, and everything's working fine now. And
Oh, that's good.
so they got their cars back, and my car is just, I don't know what's wrong with it. Keep on diagnosing and troubleshooting and fixing it up, trying to get it running. The life of a mechanic.
The life of a mechanic. That's right. You're actually a pretty skilled mechanic too. You can just about fix a car from the ground up. I don't think there's anything I've ever seen you not be able to do.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. I've seen you overhaul some engines. I've seen you do transmissions. I've seen you do gas tanks, exhaust systems.
Yeah, when I first retired to Arkansas, I don't know if you remember that. Probably, yeah, you were old enough. You remember me out there pulling engines out of cars and stuff. So.
Oh, I do. I definitely do. I remember that you took the engine out of my old Subaru and put in another. I think it was either you replaced the heads or you put in another one.
Yeah, I think that was a Subaru station wagon.
Yeah, the Outback.
Yeah, I tried to put it in a new head gasket. It had a blown head gasket, and I tried to put a new head gasket in there. And those engines are so freaking weird.
They're very weird.
Totally different from any other engine.
Yeah.
It's like with a regular engine, it's either inline or has a V shape, and then the pistons on the side. But Subaru, it's a flat engine.
Yeah, it is. It's really weird. It's like flat. It's like long.
Right. And if the pistons go into the center instead of going going up and down, it goes side to side.
Yeah.
Horizontal. And it baffled me.
You were like, what is this?
I tried to put a head gasket in there, but it didn't come out very well. So anyway,
I have two cars that I regret ever getting rid of in my life, and that was my little Mazda Miata. I had a crystal blue Mazda Miata with a convertible top that I was in love with.
Right.
And I had and that forest green Subaru station wagon. Those are the two cars that I ever regret getting rid of. I should have never done it. I should have kept them forever.
Yeah, I should have just went and got another engine and slapped it in there. It would have been easier than trying to put a head gasket on that thing.
I mean, we regrets in life. I wish I would have kept that one. So, but oh well. I did love those cars though. I did. So that's okay. I really like Danny and I, my husband, we have a pickup truck now. I really like our pickup truck. It's a good pickup truck.
Oh yeah,
Oh, pickup. We worked really hard for that.
and
So
quite the truck too. I don't think there's I don't think there's an option that you can get for a truck that's not on that truck. I think you got every option you can possibly.
facts. I think total package truck.
Yeah,
It's great.
the
We even have
Cadillac.
the fifth wheel.
Yeah,
The ultimate truck. It's a GMC Sierra 3500. Not the dually, just the all four tires. We don't have six on there. So that's a good truck. We love that truck. So, well, I'm glad you had a pretty good week. I heard you guys are getting your sewer fixed.
yeah,
Been
yeah,
having some sewer issues for a while. Getting that all fixed up.
yeah. It's definitely a problem that we've had like 3 or 4 people come in and look at it, and they just scratch their head and go away and never come back. So
I never they just disappear into the mountains. They're like, oh, bye. Just kind of, yeah. I heard it was, last year was a little bit worse with the septic, but this year isn't too bad. But I'm really glad you guys are getting that fixed. It'll be a lot less stressful for you all over there.
yeah, especially
So,
you can't work on the sewers in winter.
no,
Summer, that's a summer thing.
not in Idaho. Definitely not in Idaho.
Yeah,
So,
because the ground will be frozen.
yep,
Can't work.
covered in 4 feet of snow. So yeah, you definitely can't do anything about that in the wintertime. So good thing it's almost the end of summer. You're getting it all fixed up, so that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. So last week we left off in Mississippi. We also, I didn't mention, we have a little bit of you guys did some rearranging, so we got a different backdrop for Dad this week. This will probably be stick with this backdrop. And got a different one, but last week we were in Mississippi, and then we're going to be heading from Mississippi up to Alaska. So your adventures in Alaska, and you said you got some crazy wild stories up in Alaska that you're definitely going to be able to share, and some fun adventures. I know a couple of different stories that you've told me over the years, like we got a fun Davy Crockett jacket story, the oil puddle and the kitten. Those are
Yeah.
a couple of fun ones. So we'll definitely share those ones as we head up into the Great White North. It'd be the final frontier, I guess they call it.
Right.
The final frontier wilderness. As I can't remember how they put it. I think the final frontier is Star Trek, but yeah, it's even to this day it's still pretty wild up there.
Oh yeah.
We actually have a gentleman on our tour that drives in the Alaskan winters. I told you about that. He drives only in the wintertime in Alaska.
That's because the roads are frozen.
Yep.
Yeah. Up there, it's permafrost, and
Mm-hmm.
summertime, the top. So you have to wait until it freezes. You can drive on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what he does, and then in the summer times, a lot of the times, he will drive on tours. So that's kind of what he does. But anyway, so we're headed out of Mississippi. Do you have any other fun stories from Mississippi that you wanted to share that you could think of?
Well, we used to go fishing. There was a bridge. There was a place called Pops Ferry. Pops Ferry, and apparently that at one time there was a ferry that ran across the river, and before they built a bridge, built a bridge, they built it real wide, uh, wide shoulder bridge, where you could fish on the bridge, and we would go fishing at Pops Ferry. And one day, mom was not really type, but she kind of enjoyed fishing. She was on the bridge one day, her line in the water, had a baited hook, and all of a sudden something hit her, just like a torpedo or something, and it just went sting, and all of her line went out almost instantly, just and broke. She came to this pole with no line left on it, and just looking at it,
Whoa.
what was that? Yeah,
That must have been a big
uh,
fish.
yeah, I think it was a shark.
Oh, yeah, a
That
shark will
was,
do that.
that was brackish water. It was kind of like an estuary area, and the bull sharks come up in there uh, looking for food, and I think that's what hit it. But it was just that whatever it was just it, I would say in 3 or 4 seconds. It took all of her. She had probably well, she had a full reel of line, so yeah, probably I don't know 200 feet of line. Boom, on.
Wow. Yeah, that would make sense if it was a shark.
Yeah,
Shark will take some stuff out. Got to
yeah.
have a real powerful pole to catch a shark. So,
And I can remember we used to eat a lot of shrimp, but we never eat crabs. Did I remember ever eating a crab? I think we caught them. So and down there, and that was just like there was shrimp, and yeah, that was at the time period. That was like one of the main sources of income. Now it's like in that part of Mississippi, it's mainly shipbuilding now because they have
oh yeah.
Pascagoula right there, and that's where they build Navy and Coast Guard boats at Pascagoula shipyard. And then there's a lot of fishing, uh, oil. So there's there's not so Louisiana has oil platform and production. There's a lot of people in Mississippi that purchase rigs, build the rigs. I think they build rigs in Pascagoula too.
Yeah.
Rigs,
Okay.
and yeah, it's quite the place down there. Yeah, we have my had her brother that was married, and after he was killed, uh, they had let's see, uh, the boy is gone now. Billy is dead, and the other one, Billy, alive. She's still living down there, and of course she had children, and she's a grandmother. So I got a pretty good bunch of people down here that when I go down to Mississippi, it's like homecoming. They all gather around and welcome me back.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
good
Yeah,
people down.
definitely. That's awesome. So how old were you at this time?
I was like 5,
5.
4,
Okay.
5. Yeah, I think I turned 6 in Alaska. So
Okay, so that'd be 1955, 56.
no,
I can't do math.
53. 50,
Maybe.
53, 50. I think I was in Alaska by 1954. It'd be
I do
52,
pretty well, okay.
like right in there. And the Korean War
Sounds,
was still going on,
yeah.
and there was still people being deployed over there. And it wasn't as bad as Vietnam. I mean, it was a rough war. Casualties were a lot of casualties were just people freezing to death, and you know, it was friendly fire because it was very concentrated uh, battlefield, and so there was a lot of action, I guess you would say, in a small area. And because that by that time they had established the DMZ, Chinese were on one side with the North Koreans, America, and all of like United Nations troops. They had everybody down. They had Turks and Germans, and
Wow. I did not know that.
everybody was down there. And they just had and that was the first time that they had integrated the military. So there were blacks that were in actual fighting combat units. Before that, like World War II, they used blacks as like truck drivers and stuff. They really didn't get in, they weren't
Books.
really in most of it. Yeah, it was a different war, and I got stories about that. So yeah, because I was my business partner Jim Wright. His dad was in Korea in the infantry in the army, and he was the company commander, or yeah, either company commander or commander outfit on the DMZ in Korea. And I got a lot of stories about not a lot, but I got some stories about what went with soldiers and that sort of thing. Anyway, that's kind of getting off the subject. Yeah. Okay. So we left Mississippi. Dad went through his school at Keesler Air Force Base. That's in
Okay.
Gulfport, and then he got orders to Elmendorf Air Force Base in Anchorage. And if I remember right, he had to go up first. Had to go up there first
Oh,
because that's the way a lot of times they would do. If you had a family, they would send the military, the member, into a new area first, let him get established, and then get a place to live for his family. Very rarely did a service member go with his two-step process. He left Mississippi, went on up there, got a got a place to live, and got a set of orders for me and mom because you have to have orders to do everything. So
bring the family. Yep.
orders, and we went up and we somehow, I'm not sure how we did it. I don't remember that particular thing, but we went from Mississippi to Seattle, and we got on what's called a D. And military, it's a C-47, a twin engine, uh, mainly a transport aircraft, mainly used for transport. It's not a, generally speaking, it's not a passenger plane. But anyway, they had converted this into a passenger slash cargo plane. And we flew like I said, out of Seattle. And we probably did a fuel stop somewhere. Like I said, I don't really remember, but I do remember this. The plane had a row of seats side by side down one side of the aircraft. The other side of the aircraft was full of boxes of
Oh,
phonograph records. There was
hmm.
hundreds and hundreds of records packed in these containers on the other side of the aircraft. So uh, yeah, and so we flew up there. It probably took, I don't know, the better part of a day to get up there to Anchorage, and it was, if I remember right, it was winter. It
Hmm.
was it was cold and it was snowy, and we when we got up there. This was uh, in Anchorage, the outskirts of Anchorage, a place I'll never forget the address: 333 Concrete Avenue, 333 Concrete Avenue, and it was just this family, the Dunn family, had bought this land and had constructed a basically a tar paper shack down the middle of the property with a trailer park on each side. So there was tar paper shack building in the center, and then a row of trailers with, I would say, probably 10 or 15 trailers on each side of the shack. And the shack had, the trailers were little tiny, like travel trailers.
Hmm.
All the trailers were these little tiny travel trailers. And, and it was probably, I would say, a 20 by 8 trailer with a probably a 6 or 8 foot by 20 foot lean to on the side of the trailer, just thrown together out of whatever wood they could find. And,
Wow.
and everything like outside the trailer, everything outside the trailer was mud. It was a mud street,
Oh,
mud yard, mud everywhere,
no
and
grass, no
always
tree.
it was either covered with snow or covered with mud. And and the bathrooms, there was no bathroom. This little tiny trailer, so the bathroom was over in the tar paper shack, and the
Oh,
laundry was in the tar paper shack, and they had a big room kind of let off to kind of off of the main part. It's kind of like a addition to the tar paper shack, and that was a drying room. They didn't have dryers. You had to hang your laundry up,
oh,
and of course it was always wet, and you know, and,
oh, that's
and
miserable.
yeah, and so I will admit this, I was a chronic bedwetter, and so at night, I would wake up and I'd either have a puddle in the bed or I'd have to go to the bathroom. And so if I had
Oh,
to go to the bathroom, then mom or dad would have to take me across the mud yard to get to the bathroom, back and forth. And so dad said, I'm not putting up with this. So he got me a little coffee can to pee in. and so,
you're a regular old truck driver right there.
yeah. And so that was, and it was definitely primitive, primitive. I mean, more primitive than any. I mean, nobody would, a camper wouldn't camp. They wouldn't camp in a place like that. They would,
No,
what? Yeah, put down some gravel or pave the freaking road. I'm not, I'm
something.
not, I'm not walking through this swamp to go to the bathroom and
Man.
paying money to go through the swamp. No, I'm going to go find another campground. So, yeah, it was, and you have to remember though that Alaska at that time was not a state; it was a territory.
Oh,
It wasn't.
yeah.
So they didn't get a lot of money to do any kind of improvements, and there was really no government. The government was this territorial governor down in Juneau, which was probably 700-800 miles away, another part of Alaska, and he didn't even know what was going on up there. Didn't care either. Probably he's too busy politicking down in Juneau. So
I'm sure.
yeah, it was really really pretty up there. Uh,
That's rough.
yeah, and Anchorage itself was just it was it probably had, I would venture to say, maybe 40,000 people. 30.
Well, that's a pretty good city. That's
Well, yeah,
that's bigger than a lot of cities that we have nowadays, you know. So
right.
how would you guys heat and I guess I guess with cooling you just open up the windows. I mean Alaska's already cool, so you don't have to worry about that, but what would you
Right.
do about heating in your trailer?
It had, well, everybody up there had oil heat. They used, like a diesel heat enough to heat get the trailer where it was reasonably warm. And we had no, oh, another thing, we had no refrigerator. Our refrigerator,
Oh.
Dad got somewhere, got an ammo box, which is a wooden crate that they put ammunition for the military. Brought it home. He nailed it to a window. There was one little window on the lean-to, and he put the ammo box on there, nailed it on some way, and he had a door on it, and that was our refrigerator. The only time we had refrigerated food was in the winter, and he put it in the ice box. So other than that, I'm not sure about what we did in the summer. Milk, maybe we used powdered milk or something. I don't know. But Mom, all she had for a kid, she had like a little tiny, like a little sink and a little tiny Coleman stove. That was all she had to cook on.
That
And
poor woman.
I don't think we had the money to go buy anything or to go to a restaurant or something. So it all had to be prepared in that little dinky kitchenette thing. And the sink, we had to go across the street and get a bucket of water and bring that over, and that's how we she cooked and washed dishes, was in a bucket. You know, I
Bless
mean,
her heart. That
cooking it,
is rough.
bring the water in a bucket, and then when you put water in the sink, it just drained out in the ground outside the trailer.
Yeah,
And it
that's
was
what we'll
it
do
was
too. We're in our trailer.
pretty primitive, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh my gosh.
the one thing that kind of about living up there that kind of sticks in my mind was I was like a comic book addicted person. Had to have my comic book. So
Yeah.
we Dad would, he would take a dime, and whenever he could, we would go to a store or something. Give me a dime, and I'd buy a comic book. And I had comic books. I had that on the front of the trailer. Little trailer had a little booth in there. Had a little tiny table and two benches on each side, and the bench seat lifted up. And in that little compartment, I had comic books. I mean, I probably had 100 comic books in just one side of that bench was my little comic book place. That's where I don't remember even having any toys. I don't remember any toys at all, except
Wow.
for except for my teddy bear.
Your
My teddy
teddy
bear,
bear?
my teddy bear
Oh.
traveled the world, and I still got it. I
You
still
still have your teddy.
Yeah, I got it's like 75 years old, and it was when I first got it. I remember it had glass eyes with a little screw on, like a little wire, like a twisted wire on the back that you would screw into the head. The head was full of straw,
Oh
so you
wow.
would screw this little glass eye in there, and you could unscrew it. So I'm glad I didn't eat it. I could have. It would
Yeah.
have.
Joking
But mom,
answer.
Mom sewed buttons on. After a while, I think I lost the glass eyes, and Mom put buttons.
Put
And
little
I
buttons
still
on there.
that bear has been.
Oh,
And
I've seen your teddy. He's cute
that's
little old
all I had,
classic.
and that was it. Oh, and I had no. I take that back. I had a. Well, this isn't really a toy. I had a shoe shine kit. I still
I
got the.
like your shoe shining kit. Yeah.
I still got it. Matter of fact, it's sitting on the table. I'll go get it. In a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just polishing my boots the other day.
You still use it?
This is a
Oh,
19. This had a and it had a strap on it. The little things are still there, but it had a plastic strap that went, you know, up like this, and had a place you could put your foot here while the shoe shine boy was shining your shoes. And it's a kitty shoe, kid e shoe SHU shine bank. It has a bank on it right there. There's a little slot where you can put money in.
oh, look at that.
And then on the inside, you can use it. There's a wing nut on the inside. You can take the little bank off the inside with your money in there. And
Oh,
I've got
that's
a
so
story
cool.
about it. Not one of my proudest moments, but oh yeah, here on this it says Amsco Shoe Shine Bank for Kiddies, and it shows a guy shining a little girl's shoe, and yeah, it's pretty weird. Anyway, when I got this shoe shine bank, I think that was my Christmas present or something. I went. I left the house one day, and I came back, and I had like $5. Dad says, "Where'd you get $5?" It was like change, which is of course not a $5 bill. It was like, said, and I said, "Well, I went around and I polished people's shoes." And he said, "And you got $5? That's amazing. Usually you get like a quarter or something to shine a shoe, but you did pretty good." And then I guess about 2 or 3 days later, Mom was over in the laundry room talking to another Air Force wife, and she mentioned something about like, "I'm so sorry that your husband is being deployed and you got to stay here." And she goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah, Skippy was over shining our shoes and said that her daddy, his daddy was going to go away and in the Air Force, and we had to stay in Alaska." And she said, and so we gave him $1 to shine our shoes. Mom goes, "Oh, you did."
Ah, you got caught.
And so
You put
mom,
a sad, sappy
family
story on
feeling,
there.
like dad, mom, and dad got me sit down in the chair and said, "I hear that you've been out telling a little story about your dad going away." Everybody's like all fired up with your hardship here, and that's why you got $5. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe you made up a little story or something. And he says, "So Dad, okay, that's what we're gonna do. Get all that money you got, and we're gonna go to all those people and give the money back." So that was my lesson, I guess, morality or whatever.
Integrity.
Had to go find all the people that I'd went to and give the money back.
Oh, that must have been scary for a little kid.
Whatever. That's always every time I see that shoe shine kit, it kind of brings back a memory of Alaska and my whatever ill-fated mining business.
Ah,
For a 1950 toy. I mean, it's made out of metal too. It's not plastic.
no,
That
that's
that shoe
definitely, you
shine
can tell
box.
it's metal.
Yeah, that's something. That's something I can give to grandkids or something, and it'll last for 100 years.
That's right.
Solid.
Solid metal.
Uh, yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
that was the only that, and I think I might have gotten a ViewMaster while I was up there in Alaska. I don't. I'm not sure. I think that might have been Georgia when I got that. I think I was a little older, but I don't remember any having any toys or anything. It was just like the comic books,
Just
and that's
comic
it.
books.
Yeah. I
What was
wish
your
I.
favorite comic book?
Oh, geez.
You had to have a favorite one.
I think Walt Disney. The
Walt Disney.
like the Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse comics. They were my favorites, and 'cause I don't think I was into like superheroes or anything. And that's all comic books. There's only two genres in comic books. There's the cartoons, which, you know, they have like all kinds of cartoons, like, I don't know, Little Lulu and Henry and all, and then the Disneys. And you have that's like imaginary cartoon characters. Then you have the superheroes, and they had like
Okay.
all the like Superman, Batman, all of the the regular Marvel comic stuff and the DC comic stuff, and Sergeant Rock. I think I had some Sergeant Rock comics. That's like a war hero thing, but he was like invincible. Sergeant Rock couldn't be killed, so he could do all. And then yeah, I think I wish I could have kept some of those. I mean, those comics are probably, if I had them still,
Oh,
worth a fortune because
definitely.
this was back when they were first. Well, I think they had already. I think Superman goes back into the 30s and 40s or the 40s, I guess. Same with
The very
all
old original ones, yes.
superheroes were like from the 40s, and so I wouldn't have the initial. If I had the introductory comic, the first Superman comics are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
They. Oh
They're
yeah.
Yeah, they are incredible, and same with all Batman and all of the superheroes. Those comics are just priceless. Uh, I wish I could have had enough business or whatever. I'm not giving these comic books away.
Never.
I think when we left Alaska, we just left the comic books. I don't think they came with us
Oh,
because
tragic.
all we had was a car trunk. That was it. So whatever personal possessions we had to fit in the trunk of a 1950 Buick Roadmaster.
Wow.
We didn't
It's
have much.
not. I mean, those trunks are huge, but that's not a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we didn't have much, and that was kind of Dad's. Dad was just typical military. We had a neighbor in Georgia, and he was a jet mechanic, which those guys are like gold. They want them everywhere. So he went on a lot of temporary duty, going to different bases and fixing jet engines. And he had a family, had a wife and a kid and a little girl, and his wife wanted a sewing machine really bad. She was a really good seamstress, and she wanted a sewing machine. He said, "No way, there's not enough room. It has to go in the trunk of it." They had a '57 Ford. It has to go in the trunk of '57 Ford. Fit in there, can't take it. And she begged him, and finally she got, I think, her birthday or something. He got her a portable sewing machine.
Little travel one.
But oh, it was like whoa, like almost. Hey, it's time. Let's have a parade. Bring out the bands. Yeah, she got a sewing machine.
Sewing machine. Puts it on display
Big,
over his shoulders.
big deal, and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Dad was the same way. I mean, if it didn't fit in that trunk, he didn't want it. Nope, not taking it. And yeah, so we had everything, all of our worldly possessions, as far as I know, were in the trunk of that car. He didn't. There
Hmm.
was I don't think he shipped anything. He may have shipped stuff from Alaska, but I don't know. I just know I took my teddy bear
Yeah,
woman.
you took your teddy bear?
Yeah.
That's right. Had that teddy
that was
bear.
a that was quite the deal. Yeah, and we had friends, the Mans and the Lydeckers they were in the army and they were stationed at Fort Richardson in Anchorage, and we were their friends for the rest of our lives. I mean, mom and dad, they we would drive, cross country to go see these people and we'd stay in their house for as long as we wanted to. It was amazing what people, how they bonded together in those days. It was because we had no television. Now the owners of the trailer park in Alaska, they got there was one station in Anchorage, and they got a television set. This was probably in
One station.
four. And I can remember going over to their house. They invited us over to their house to look at their TV, a little black and white TV. And I can remember seeing like you're looking at an engine, a train engine coming at you. Like the camera was set on like right next to the railroad tracks, and this train was coming at you. And I can remember that after, remember seeing that train on that's the first time I'd seen television. Now we had one in California, but that was 2 or 3 years before that, and I hadn't seen any TV since then.
Hmm.
uh,
Oh wow.
yeah, so it was because Mississippi, we didn't have a TV in Mississippi, so
Yeah, it seems like that would be a little bit more of a
luxury.
like a little more of an impoverished area. And
Right.
not as many luxuries down in that area.
Yeah, Mississippi was a depressed area. I mean,
Yeah, back in the yeah.
depressing and depressed.
Well, it's they're very well off now. It's you go along where like Gulf Shores, they got all those beautiful mansions along the shore side or along the seashores.
Yeah,
They're beautiful. So
yeah,
yeah, it's that's really interesting. And I was kind of thinking, it's kind of the same way with trucking. Like if you can't put it in the truck, you can't take it with you.
right.
You can't have it. There's a lot of stuff that you just can't have in the semi.
Yeah,
And some people live completely in the semi truck. They don't even have a storage unit. Like this is their life right here.
right.
So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I will tell you this one story about living in Mississippi. Uh,
Okay.
there was only one. There was some motels and stuff, but the only real house that was of any consequence was the house of Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy. He had
Oh.
a mansion on the beach in Gulfport, and that was the only really. I would say the rest of it was just, the rest of the beach was just trashy little motels and gas stations and stuff, shacks of various signs. But that was the only real substantial building there, and it survived.
Hmm.
They had a tornado that came through in 1970. Camille came through there, and I mean wiped out that whole area. They had
The
like a
hurricane.
storm. They had like a 20-foot storm surge that came through there.
Wow.
And about the only thing that survived was Jefferson Davis's oh, still came through. So it's not what's down there now. They probably still have a replica of his mansion, but the original mansion,
Oh, it's
yeah.
it's gone now.
Well, I mean, they may have rebuilt a replica, but the original mansion is gone.
Oh, okay.
It was beautiful. I think I went in at one time, but it was, an Annabelle set with all of the the Victorian stuff all throughout. Well, he was. I'm getting a whistle on the sound.
A whistle?
Yeah, I don't know whether that's on your end.
I don't know.
I'm getting a little whistle.
We'll get
Yeah.
it figured out.
Anyway, so, do you want to get back to Alaska?
Sure. Let's jump back into Alaska. Did you start school in Alaska?
I did,
Okay.
and you mentioned that you wanted me to tell a story or to talk about my favorite teachers.
Yeah. Did you have
Teacher,
favorite teachers?
my favorite teacher was Miss Cornish, and she was my first grade teacher. They came to the Anchorage Times came around classes, and they took a picture of me and Mrs. Corn sitting around reading. It was reading. I was
Oh,
a
okay.
bluebird. Yeah, Mrs. Cornish really liked me and made me a bluebird reader. And you have to remember, see, I was ahead. I didn't get to start school until I was 6 going on 7. And most kids can start 5 going on 6 because their birthdays are in like in fall,
Yeah.
and school, of course, school used to start on Labor Day. Now
Yes.
that's long past. But anyway, my Labor Day was still 4 months away from my birthday. I couldn't go to school at 5 on 6, or yeah, I wasn't even, I think it was 5 6. I think I still missed 6. So I was 6 going on 7. So 4 months after I started school, that yeah, else, everybody else,
Wow.
5 years old or just old. I was a grizzly old nasty 6 year old, you know, and going on. So I was everybody, and that made and in that part of developmental stuff with children, even like 6 months makes a big difference because they're learning so rapidly. Uh, uh, head or a leg up, I was able to be a bluebird reader.
There you go. So,
Yeah,
so do you, so when you were in school, were you like pretty social? Or were you kind of shy? Like, I remember being in kindergarten or first grade, I was very shy. I was very scared of everybody. I had a hard
yeah,
time socializing. And when I socialized, I was really awkward.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah. That was me. I was.
yeah.
Well, I see the problem I had, which is not sure universal, but me individually, I had no brothers and sisters.
Oh, that's true.
Where I was at, like in Alaska, was isolated. There was
Hmm.
kids, but there was a lot of nature. You didn't play. There was no playground. You got to roll in the mud. You know, and there was a sled area that we would go to. It was a gravel pit. It was this gigantic, like a cone-shaped hole in the ground, and we slid down the side of the gravel pit, and then walk back up to the top again. That was really the only play that I had close to my age. I didn't have any friends. I, either in school or at home. No, no friends.
Wow.
No brothers and sisters. So I was socially inept. I was
Hmm.
total. I was a. I mean, shy, didn't really have any group uh, adhesion or anything. I don't know all of the psychological stuff that goes along with socialization. None of that. I was just like a loner,
Yeah.
and I don't remember ever having any. I didn't have any friends, and none of the people that were friends of my mom and dad had kids. The Lighters and had kids. And all that. So it was kind of lonely, but
Yeah.
my mom and dad were incredible. They were just really good parents. They oh they would do their best because dad wasn't home a lot. He was working,
Yeah.
and mom was she didn't try her best.
Yeah.
She
Absolutely.
she would just a lot of times, like in the winter especially, it was just me and mom. And I had a tuxedo cats are black with a white patch on their chest.
Hmm.
Uh, I had it, and they usually have a little white paws too.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes they have a little
tuxedo, I
mustache.
got a picture of the cat somewhere, and really a pretty nice cat. And dad was down at work one day, and it was his dog running the flight line. He's always down the flight working, and he dog. So he says, so the boss says, take that dog out of here, take it down to dog pound. I said, oh, Dad said, oh, I'll take it home. Maybe my boy would want that. So he brings the dog home, and it's just this strange little, you know, a pup. Wasn't very, it was a big dog.
Yeah.
And of course, we're living in this mud hole, and there's no place for the dog to run around outside. So he was pretty much indoors, and he peed on the floor. He had, he had in the lean-to, there was like a little area between the door and the outer wall of the lean-to. Dad had a chair there. That was his throne, and the dog peed next to the chair. And
Oh
Dad
boy.
he said, clean that mess up, blah blah blah, And the next day, the dog was gone.
Yeah.
He had one chance, and that was it.
One chance and he
Peed
lost
on
it.
the floor, you're gone. You know, and
Oh.
that was the only dog. Now I'm not lying. That was the only dog I ever had. The the 18 years I lived at home before I went into the military, that was the only dog I ever had for one day.
Oh, oh man. Didn't even
And
get a chance.
yeah, and the cats, they kind of I don't really remember anything.
Kind of came and went.
I had a picture of that cat, so I remember that cat, but I don't remember any other. I don't remember any other animals. No
Oh.
pets.
Well, the
think
turtle.
they, I think they had a parakeet for a while,
Oh, that's a lot.
and but just no dogs, no horses,
No
no cats.
problem.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just me.
Just you were their they didn't need a pet, they had you.
Yeah,
So,
I go sit on the floor next to Dad, and he'd pat me on the head. Yeah, okay.
yeah. Well, I know you had this fun story about an oil puddle and a kitten that you were chasing. How about you share that story? I liked that story.
Okay. In that trailer park we lived in Anchorage. Oh, I'll be back. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. When we were up in when we were in Kodiak in the Coast Guard, we went over to Anchorage, and I wanted to go over and see where I used to live. So we went over there and this hat. This
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can see it's the Mush Inn, which is
Okay.
takeoff on the dog sleds. Mush Inn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right here, 333 Concrete
Huh?
Avenue.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so
So
that's
that inn is sitting where the trailer park used to be.
right. The Mush Inn. It's. I mean, we went up there and it was totally. Of course, it was all paved and had a nice office
Oh,
and
finally.
it
It's
was
about
like
time.
think about it, right. They had apartments. The center, the old tar paper shack in the center was apartments, and the trailers were all gone. And I think that was pretty much it. Was that apartments in the center, and then the side was all parking, and it was totally different. I didn't really recognize anything as far as the area goes. But anyway, getting back to when it was still this primitive Alaskan place, there was a right behind the trailer was a chain link fence. And I'm talking a military chain link fence. It was like 8 foot of chain link with 3 strands of barbed wire on top. So it was
Ooh.
probably at one time had been some military installation.
Okay.
Anyway, I was out one day out messing around, and it was like in the warmer weather, probably in the spring or even in the summer, and but I was had a coat on, so it wasn't, but it never got that warm anyway. So anyway, I was out playing, and I looked over, and on the other side of the chain link fence was a cat, and he's walking along the chain link fence. And I said, "Oh, a little kitty," you know. So I started following the cat down the chain link fence, and on the other side of this chain link fence was a wrecking yard. It was like all of these, like, I mean, heavy equipment, like big trucks and bulldozers and everything over there. And I was going to go down and I was going to get into that wrecking yard and get that cat. Got down to the down with the about maybe about 50 feet down the fence was a gate going so the trucks and everything could get into the wrecking yard.
Mm-hmm.
And the cat was still over there on the other side of the fence. And I said, well, if I,
Dumb cat.
yeah, I looked over and this gate was, it was a big gate. It was probably 20 feet long, maybe 25 feet long, a
Oh,
big,
wow.
so all this big equipment get in this place.
Okay. Yeah.
So the gate it was sagging down and but there was a puddle there. And I said, well, if I hang on the gate and it had a metal bar in the bottom, like any chain link fence has a bar in the top and the bottom. Bottom bar was out across this puddle, and I said, oh, okay, I can stay on the bar, hold on the fence, and I can get out across this puddle and get the kitty. And so I started edging out there. And I got about 5 or 6 feet out over the puddle, and the bar and the whole gate sagged down
Oh.
puddle, and my shoes got this liquid on them out of this puddle, and it was oil,
Oh.
gigantic puddle of oil, black oil out of crankcases of these bulldozers and stuff, and
Ooh.
this oil on them, and I slipped off into the puddle, and I think I panicked and let go of the fence, and I fell backwards into the puddle.
Oh. Oh.
So I staggered, so I got up and staggered out of the puddle, and I was only like 50 feet from the house, the trailer. So, so I walked down the fence to the home and went up and I guess, mommy, mommy, and, and I was covered with black nasty, slimy oil out of these diesel trucks.
Oh,
He freaked out, and the side note was I was wearing a wool coat and a wool hat that they had just bought, and
oh,
this was a nice hat and coat. I mean, I'm talking heavy duty, keep me warm in the winter coat, and it was totally covered with diesel oil and
oh, no getting that out.
crankcase oil out of these trucks, and of course it was ruined. And he thrown away, and I don't know how they. I guess he took me instantly over to the bathroom and hosed me down, and I don't know. It was a. I don't remember much of. I remember falling into the oil, and it was headache, and not just for me, but for mom and dad. I mean, they had probably spent maybe I don't know $15 or $20 on this outfit.
That's a
That
lot of money for that
a lot
time.
of money, and it was like something that I think they probably thought I could wear that for a couple of years or so. Get a lot of yeah, and dad got pretty upset, I think, but he wasn't upset at me. He was upset at them having that yard right there and not having anything to keep kids out because it
Okay.
could have been any kid, you
Yeah,
know. Wasn't I wasn't I guess adventurous in that respect. I mean, there was I had some issues, but I was a pretty good kid. I wasn't like
pretty
some
well
little
behaved.
yeah some little monster kid.
You weren't
So
a hoodlum.
he he tried. So I remember that he tried to get something done about that yard being that close to the trailers and everything. I'm not sure what transpired, but he was not happy. He was, in other words, he wasn't mad at me so much as he was mad that a puddle of oil was 50 feet away from the house. I mean, and it was
Yeah,
a big,
definitely not the
it was a
most.
big puddle. It was 10 or 12 feet across.
Whoa, that's a huge puddle.
Yes, it was a big, and
Bigger
this
than a
gate.
car.
Yeah, this gate was, like I said, like 20 feet, probably 15, 20 feet long, going across. Just, they'd open it up and to let the trucks come in and out, but they were just draining this oil on the ground.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's an
And
environmental hazard, if
yeah, oh,
any.
yeah, there was no such thing as environment back in those days.
Definitely not. There was no environmental,
No,
uh, protections, no EPA at all. That didn't
right,
exist. That's wow. Well, I'm glad he knew where to point his, his anger and his frustrations. I would definitely, as a parent, would be very worried that my kid would. I mean, that's dangerous on your health. Falling into a puddle of oil.
right.
That's bad. So,
Yeah, I'm sure it was contaminated with every kind of heavy metal and
sure,
uh,
sure. It's a good thing they hosed you off really quick.
yeah. Maybe I was normal child until I was drenched in oil.
Okay,
And
okay,
after that,
yeah.
maybe
After that,
after
it
that,
was.
that's when I turned into Skippy the monster. It was like,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
he was okay until he got dumped in that oil, and then he turned into this like
It's all
crazy,
been downhill from there.
not the old Skippy anymore.
Oh, that's funny. Oh my gosh. Well, that's a good story. Well, let's uh let's stop there where we are out of time for today, and we will pick back up next week. So, there's some good stories that you had there, Dad. I definitely like the Alaskan stories. I think life was just kind of really getting crazy then. There's a lot
Yeah,
of adventures up there. So, But we are so happy that all of you joined us this week over here on Kelly's Chronicles, and we hope that you all have a great rest of this next week. Please be safe out there, especially on the roadways. They can be very dangerous. And we hope that you all do something fun this week right before. I think school's already started, but
Yeah.
spend time with your families and enjoy your life as it is. So, but we will see you guys next week.